to dive into a more sort of like, not serious topic, but we could have a discussion here, right? With stronger and more sort of like larger batteries that are coming into play. I mean, I know earlier we had a discussion about, Tesla, they're about to build what they call the largest battery in the world that can hold about 129 megawatt hours of battery. Does this in any way affect what you're trying to do? And if so, how are you planning to touch base and come to par with this?
That was a fantastic question, and I get asked that often. And it's a complex one because it's not so straightforward just because you have a bigger battery and therefore the phone would be lasting for a month. I guess first thing first is going back to my previous reference, the phone usage has a big part to it because it's not a linear formula, it's a bilateral formula.
Meaning?
Right? And it's very dynamic because it's not just about increasing the battery, it's also increasing the battery capacity to meet the increasing demand of the usage.
Sure.
And so at this point, especially with the complexity of the phone utilization, right? I mean, 5 years ago, for the most part, most people would only use the phone to call, make a call, or maybe at most, I don't know, social media.
Sure.
But today, almost every part of our life is driven by apps. And every app is running on the background.
Absolutely.
And every app that runs on the background, believe it or not, is draining your battery because it's pulling data. And there are a lot of things that consumers aren't aware of that every single day, the reason why by 1 o'clock the phone is out of juice is because of their usage pattern.
I love how you call the battery juice. It's become an adoptive phrase.
It is, it's really the juice. And so I think on the one hand, we have to ask ourselves, are we likely going to increase the usage by, whatever number of multiple? And then we look at how fast is the battery within a very, very small size phone. Because remember, people don't want their phones big. Yeah. So on the one hand, people want smaller and slimmer phones.
And more efficient.
They want more powerful OS.
Sure.
And the more powerful OS, I don't know if you downloaded the OS, the iOS 11.
I have.
So that basically, like, your phone is done by not even one, like probably by 11.
It does run out quick.
And so when you have more powerful OS, you have smaller and slimmer phones. That also creates challenges in terms of how much battery you can fit into such a small case. It's all physics. There's only so much battery. So if there's a breakthrough in terms of what type of battery is being used inside the application of battery for a mobile phone, we are seeing whatever we're seeing. Maybe there's a percentage of improvements, but it's not going to be like, wow, it's going to be 5 or 10x. It's just physically not possible. Now, people have also asked, well, what about cellular tower?
Yeah.
And I often joke that by the time that we walk around, and if the cell towers are strong enough to emit power that all of us can walk around and charge our phone remotely that way, all of us will have cancer and die within a year because the radiation would be so strong that all of us would die. And so there are many, many constraints, and I can go on and on and on just because that's like my passion now. It's about battery. But long and short is that because of physics and because of people's utilization, the trend, and also constraints in terms of what you can actually fit into a very small case, we really do not see that as a big challenge. And we in fact think that the market will only become more and more high demand over the course of next few years, especially with the coming of 5G.
Okay. That's interesting. Thank you for that. That was a lot.